Okay, guys, welcome back to Childish Summer Camp 2025. And today we are on content writing and we're talking about identifying target audience and writing for different age groups. Last time, if you missed our class, just go back and rewatch the video because we gave an assignment for you to read our book that we wrote, The Assertive Power of Saying No. Yeah. So you have to read that book, and then we have a template that we dropped already on the platform for you to fill in the new words you're going to learn from that exciting book we gave you guys. So you have to read from that and then give us the feedback, write in all the words, follow the templates, write in the antonyms, the synonyms, and the examples that we need, the sentences you need for you to do that. So thank you very much. I'm here with
Bella, good morning, and welcome to another amazing class with you guys on content mastery for beginners.
yeah. So we'll be talking about target audience and writing for different age groups. If we look into our slides, you see we have an amazing design in here to get just a moment. Yeah. So in introduction, you see, imagine you are writing a story or creating a message for a specific group of people. What question would you ask? Imagine you're writing a story about um, Abraham and Isaac, and then what question are you going to ask? What was Isaac thinking when when his dad was taking him out on a hike? Like, young man, you'll be a sacrificial lamb soon. So, what question will you ask? No, Arabella said, asking the right questions will help you understand your target audience. If you ask the question properly, you know, okay, are you supposed to talk to your dad or are you supposed to talk to the servants? And then it helps you create content that's best suited for them. So let's dive in. Arabella, your next slide for you.
Thank you very much, sir. So, we're looking at what is a target audience. Since we're looking at how to identify our target audience, we need to understand first of all who a target audience is. Now, a target audience is the group of people you're trying to reach with your message, story, or content. Now, whatever content you are having or whatever message you want to pass, whoever needs to read it is identified as your target audience. So if it's for students, if it's for parents, for teachers, for politicians, whoever you think will need to read what you have to say or what you have to write is your target audience. Now it's like aiming your arrow at a specific target or aiming your football at the goalpost. And of course, you want to hit the right spot. Am I right? Exactly. So when you're writing the content, the idea is to ensure that whatever content you're writing reaches the right set of people. And those people who will be reading it are your target audience. Thank you.
That's nice. That's very beautiful. So he said, identifying your target audience, you must first identify your target audience and you need to ask yourself these questions. Who are they? Their age, their gender, who are you talking to? When you're trying to explain football, like Mr. Morris, he loves football so much. I'm sorry to say this online. So when he's trying to talk about football, how does he explain this? Is he explaining to people that understand um, clubs? Like imagine you're telling a child, this is a club side. What is a club side? How do you start explaining that to a child? Yes. So if you are trying to tell somebody about superheroes, yes, the first thing that will come into a child's mind is Superman. Once you just say superheroes, Superman comes to the child's mind. So now, when you tell this age and gender, you cannot tell a girl child about football. She's not going to like it. But you tell the girl's child about Barbie, ha, Cinderella, ha, they'll be there for you. Do you get? So now, what do they need to know? You want to tell a child about Superman, what do they need to know? You have to tell them that the Superman is a strong superhero. He has a weakness because you have to create a weakness in whatever content you're writing. You have to create a weakness for your character. So you say Superman is hindered by kryptonite. And then you start telling them what kryptonite is. Kryptonite is like a small gem. You have to give them these ideas. Kryptonite is a small gem that once Superman has sight of it, he's weak. He cannot do this. If you put it in cake for him and then Superman eats the cake, Superman is going to die. Do you get? So yeah. So what do they need to know? You have to tell them this kryptonite. Have to tell them how how Superman recharges himself when he gets to the sun. I have to tell them that Superman is a man of steel. So when you hit him, rien kang kang, you get, but he's a human. Now, how
Yeah,
much do they need to know? How much do you need to know? Like, what's the length of words do you need to express this? How much do you need to tell them about this character you're portraying? How much do you need to tell a boy child about football? How much do you need to tell a girl child about Barbie? Like, what do they need to know? You know, in Barbie, they do a lot of singing. And then from there, they learn how to sing so much well that have sisters that they will recite the whole song of Barbie for you. And come on. And they made it in such a way that initiated me into the song. So I started knowing which sound it is. And yeah, so now you now tell them what problem do they face. Yes. So we now told you already that Superman faced a weakness, which was the kryptonite. And then we now told you that Barbie faced a villain, maybe three musketeers, or is it Snow White? He had a very wicked stepmother. Those are the problem they faced. And then what language do they speak? In Superman, you know that they have kryptonite and they have their language, but then they tell you in English, like the vocabulary is what they talk about. When they talk about what language do they speak, the vocabulary, is it a huge word they're talking about? Do you have to make do you have to break it down for them to understand? Do you get? So when you're talking about Barbie on the other side, what language do they speak? You tell them, okay, we're talking about the how to make a let's say a penthouse. Maybe has a penthouse, and those doors. What language do they speak? They have codes. Maybe they have to clap their hands before the door opens. They have to flip their fingers. They have a language that they use to communicate with themselves. So you have to let your audience know the language they are speaking, and they have to understand the language of your audience. What do they speak? Do they speak in parables? Are you writing Shakespeare? Do they speak in codes? They're like in football, they have cards, so there's a language they speak. You'll be hearing offside, you'll be hearing lines, man. So you have to understand your audience and then write according to what you are targeting. So that is so much for identifying your target audience. So the next slide, Arabella is going to take us on that.
okay, thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful lecture. So we already know what our audience are. From what our teacher but if already said, they already told us that we should know who they are, their ages, and so many things. Now that you know your audience and have asked yourself these questions, you need to know their needs. Like it's one thing that okay, my audience is a male or my audience is a child of 7 years. Now, what does my audience need? Right? It's very important to not just know my audience, but to know their needs. So it's only by knowing their needs that I can actually create content that suits their needs. Now, the first question to ask yourself is what are their interests? As a guy, what are guys interested in? Maybe they're interested in football, interested in sport, interested in anything that has to do with competition, right? And what are girls interested in? They're interested in maybe cookbooks, playhouses, drama, and so many things. So I need to first of all know my audience interest. If it's a parent, what will a parent be interested in learning about? If it is a school student, what will a pupil be interested in knowing? Right? So I need to understand the interest of my audience. Secondly, what do they want to learn? As a student, what would be my interest in learning? What would I want to know about the world? If I'm a teenager, if I'm a youth, if I'm a child, if I'm a business person, what would I want to know about my business? Because it would be so wrong for me to give you something that has to do with a student when I am a business person. I will not want to read it. Why? Because I am a business person and I am not a student. So I need to understand what my audience would want to learn about. Now, the third question is what problem do they need help solving? So we have identified a problem already. They have a problem with knowing how to make a sale, or they have a problem with knowing how to make A in their grades, or have a problem with knowing how to pass an exam. That's my problem. So how do I know, what do I need to solve? And what do I need help in solving, right? I need help in solving my problem of knowing how to successfully pass an examination. Now, the first question, which is the most important question, is how can my content help them to solve their problem and still sound like fun for them? So if I have a content and it cannot solve their problem, then they would not want to read my content, right? So if I'm a student and I go through your content and your content has to do with helping me to make A's in my academics, I would want to read. Why? Because I'm a student, I have an issue with making A's, and I want to know how to make an A in my grade. So these questions will enable you to know the specific needs of your audience. What are they interested in? What would they be interested in learning about? What problem do they need to solve? And how would my content help them to solve these problems? But the end of your content is to ensure that they get information, problems are solved, they have fun while their problems is. Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. So now we are talking about writing for different age groups. So now you see the presentation, there are different colors, those are different age groups. So writing has to make you understand that whatever you write for age 1 to 3, it's not the same understanding that age 4 to 5 will have. Do you understand? So you have to give them this grading and then understand the perspective you're writing towards. So now we talk about writing for younger kids between age 7 to 10. If you are writing, you are using simple languages and short sentences. Use drawing and illustrations, and pictures are very important because the goal is to make it fun and interactive. Remember, the goal is to connect with your readers and keep them engaged. You cannot just think about writing about, let's use Barbie again, for example. You want to write about, you want to try, you want to narrate the movie you just watched, Barbie and the Three Musketeers, to your friend. And then you just start up the story with, okay, Barbie is a girl that lived in the island, blah 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 blah. And then at the end of the day, you don't make it engaging. You don't let them know that Barbie had a very rough background. You don't make them know that Barbie had gone through training, rigorous training, to join the Musketeers. But then you just jump into making it look as if Barbie had everything figured out. No, 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 you don't do that. You have to make it fun. Give them that thrill so that you keep them engaged. That is just the goal. Make them engaged and glued to your writings. You get, you don't just write everything shabby. So Arabella, you take the next slide and talk about the 11 to 13 year.
That's very amazing. So we're talking about 15, right? Things like boss like I already said. When you're writing for children, you need to ensure that you use a lot of pictures because children might not be interested in your work as much as they'll be interested in looking at your pictures. I remember when I was much younger, my dad bought a whole lot of pictures with white because if you're telling me something, I might not listen, but if you are showing me with a picture, I will definitely pay attention to you. Now, if I'm trying for a 15 within a 11 to 13, I will not want to use too many pictures. Why? Because they are a bit advanced in hearing, right? And they might understand, they will understand that complex language. So if I'm using only I and or two-syllable words, for a child that's for a preteen that's 11 to 13, and I've not been using only words that are two syllables, I can use bigger words that are better spelling because they are more advanced and there's a possibility that they will be able to understand more content. Now, pictures are good for teaching, okay? They will not pictures, but engaging stories are even better. If they are to tell them a story, they want to listen to a story more than looking at a picture. Why? Because their mind is more advanced, right? Their learning process is even better. Now, putting love issues that talk about friendship to all the future. As a preteen, they're no longer children, okay, and they're not yet adults, right? So they want something that has to do with something that can relate to children. Now, they're not friendship enough. As preteens, they want to know about their friends, about their education, about the future, what will they do in the future, because they're beginning to develop and they're getting better as human beings. Now, lastly, give them something to think about in your story. Unlike a child that will only want to look at the picture and pass, the preteen will want to think about something. Let them think about the girl that fell at the well. Let them think about the boy that ran at the class easily. Let them think about the light that came when you were not supposed to. Right? So if it's a preteen that you're writing for, don't just let it be too simple for them. Allow them to think also on the part of your content for the story. So,
Continue.
okay, so let me continue with teenagers, right? Now, teenagers are within age 16. Yeah, from 14 to 16, and they are more advanced than 16, right? And they can handle more vocabulary and more stories. Unlike maybe a child or a preteen that they are still trying to get used to storytelling. Teenagers love stories. In fact, you most likely see a teenager with another teenager. What they are there doing, they are discussing what they would call gist. They are gisting, right? Because they are teenagers. They love to have conversations with people. So if you're going to be writing for them, use more stories for them and bigger vocabulary because they can understand better. Let your content talk about issues that are relevant to their life. What will a teenager want to listen to? Something about identity, finding their purpose, finding their footing in life, planning their future, something about relationships. Now, as a teenager, they're no longer so interested in only friendship. They're looking at who's your crush for today, which boy are you in love, which girl are you in love. In fact, that is the juicy discussion of the day, right? So if they're writing any content that relates to a teenager, don't only write about skills, don't only write about friendship, don't give them pictures, give them stories, give them talks about identity, about finding their purpose, finding a career, having a career choice, even their relationships, like it is very important. This kind of content will always get them engaged. Why? Because they're looking at something that relates to their day-to-day life. Now give them reasons to think deep about their values and principles. But you see, you can only tell them to think about what the story is telling them about. What if the teenagers, they want to think about their values. They want to ask themselves, if I was in this situation, would I have done this? If I was in this situation, would I pick up this thing? Will I say yes to this man? Will I say no to the man? Will I say let us go? Let us life? Because they are now teenagers. So they're having values. They're trying to be principles for their life. So whatever you are giving them, it is something that buttresses and talks about their values and also their strengths.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So while you were on course, I had a strong thought that struck me, and then had this thought about the crucifixion of Christ, and then where if I'm giving a teen this message or a story to write about, I'll tell the teenagers to look at it this way. What if Judas, what if Judas did not just betray Jesus in the garden, and then they started a fight when Peter drew out the sword, and then all of a sudden it became a bloody war, and then Jesus just went down there. That would have been the end of the story. Yeah. So what if there was no stage for him to move from the from that to the crucifixion and then his death? What if he just died at that spot? What would have happened? What would have been the story? Now, Peter, on the other hand, would have fought war. I'm like I'm trying to wrap my hand around it. Like, what would have happened? So if you have to have deep thought on this, you look at it in that perspective. What if when Peter drew his sword and then Jesus did not tell him put back your sword? Then what would have happened? Would have been unfolding. But that's not the talk for today. Let's leave that and then dive into our main class. So I think we've gotten to the conclusion of today's class. So I'll take it that identifying your target audience and understanding their needs is crucial to creative, effective content. By tailoring your writing to different age group, you can engage, you can inform, and inspire readers. So I can just chip in that Judas. What if Judas did not betray Jesus? What if Judas after? Let's leave that. Let's slide. Let's just slide. Okay. Just remember to use simple language, relatable examples, and engaging stories. So I'll just share a brief life experience with you guys. Um, my mom. I like bringing in my mom in most of my stories, my lifetime experience, because it was indeed a lifetime experience. So the thing is, we do crack jokes or tell stories to our parents just for them to get the idea of what we are trying to pass across to them. But at the end of the day, there's always these slight chances that it become the topic of the day. It becomes your own life lesson. It becomes your own life lesson because I told my mom, okay, mom, look at this, my friend. My friend, the parent allows him to go out whenever he wants and come back whenever he wants. Mom just sat down, look at me. So that's what you want to start doing in this life now. So they want control. So now, when you're putting this into stories, now factor in your real-time experiences. into writing. Make it engaging. Make it more engaging, and then make your content shine. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions as a parent, as a student? Send it to our DM. We have our camp director here with us, Madam Tete Bless. Madam Tete Bless, at this point, you can unmute your mic and then give us your last address so that we can call it a day for today's session. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, good morning. Please excuse my voice.
You're excused, ma'am. Welcome.
So I actually enjoyed today's session and I learned a lot. Thank you so much for attending today's class. I hope that you're going to learn so much after rewatching this video because I'm actually going to rewatch this video myself. So also ensure that you complete your tasks. I think they were dropped on the WhatsApp group, so please ensure that you complete them. Thank you so much for attending today's class.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Thank you very much. We also have an assignment or a task for today. So we'll drop it on the platform. So you have to write a story, not more than 5 paragraphs, of what true friendship is in Western Nigeria. We'll drop that for you. So thank you very much for joining in, and please drop your questions. Arabella, you can say the last words.
Okay, just ensure that whatever content you are doing will be very engaging and very informative. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.